And when we see these videos on Instagram, whenever there's heavy rain or
Yeah.
things that happen and you see the cascades, the waterfalls, that didn't happen in my time in New York. If anything, occasionally I would go to the bottom of the island under One New York Plaza, the old 1-9 train, and you'd see some water seep in from maybe the Battery. But now, I guess, with climate change and sea level rise and this resilience, it's becoming all too common.
Welcome to climate change. That's exactly what it is. So it's these really fast, quick thunderstorms that just dump particularly in the summer, obviously, that dump 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in 45 minutes, 90 minutes. When I was running transit, there was a thunderstorm in Washington Heights, and I want to say it was like 2 inches of rain in 40 minutes or something like that. That is a massive amount of rain for any area. But add that you're like it's sort of near both rivers, you're in a flood zone, you're in all that. Plus, in most of these places, you're entering the station from the street, and there might be, it's for most of your listeners probably been in the New York City subway, but for anybody who hasn't, from the sidewalk, you might step up like one step and walk a couple feet, and then you're downstairs. So it's not like the water has to rise very far before it's just like coming down the steps. And a lot of these photos are, that you see are tons of water coming down the entrances and the stairwells. Certainly, the grates above the system are open. And so everything from the street or for the sidewalks are coming, shooting down. And so that's the main thing. Now, for many years, we also had, it's funny because this is such a basic issue. It's like an issue you would have in your own apartment or your own houses. The drains were clogged. Like we weren't doing a good job of cleaning the drains. And it turned out that we ended up, having a big effort. This was probably 2019, 2020 to clean out those drains, and things worked a little better. But when you get those huge thunderstorms, you're going to have a flooding situation. And what we would often communicate to folks is you're going to have a flooding situation. And guess what? It's going to be over in 40 minutes. Like, I know it's not pleasant. I know you got to get home. This is not a 2-day problem. This is literally a 40-minute problem. So go to the bar, go to the coffee shop.
Sarah, this does hasten kind of the depreciation of these already kind of old assets that are barely hanging on. I mean,
Totally.
the rust, the crack, there are parts where, I mean, this stuff is sluicing through. You wonder if it's AI now increasingly.
I know. Look, it's tough on the system. And by the way, like, don't forget, there's actual like tons of streams that are running underground in New York City.
Yeah, I think people forget that these reclaimed streams and the amount of water that you have to pump out, or the amount of sewer water that just goes back into the rivers when you get an inch or two.
Yeah, the MTA has pumps. Like on the driest day in New York City, the MTA is pumping literally tons and tons of water out of the system just because of the streams that are in the ground around the system. So look, it's terrible for the system, but it is climate change, and there are certainly some things that we can do, and I think some things that the MTA has done well in trying to address it. But when you have thunderstorms and you get 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain, you're going to have a very tough time. And by the way, it's the toughest on the workers because they're in that station and they've suddenly got 14 inches of water around them, and they've got people who like are coming down saying like, is the train running? It's like, the train's not running.